Welcome back to the Standpoint. Now, this is the program not to mess, how to become a millionaire. Because one of my guests is on a mission to make sure that 1 million people are, helped or supported to become millionaires. Let me just call him Mr. Pallien. Okay, the first name he'll teach us how to pronounce it later. But he's a German. He's from Germany. He's a self-made millionaire. Self-made. He wasn't born with a golden spoon. He didn't inherit family, properties. Self-made millionaire on a mission to financially liberate 1 million people worldwide. Ha! Me, myself, a day inside. Let me sit properly. Welcome to Ghana.
Thank you.
Self-made millionaire.
Yes.
How did you grow up? How was it like?
I grew up in a very poor village, actually, in Germany. And when I grew up, my parents, they didn't have any money at all. So they used to kind of scream and yell to each other about money, who spends money on what. And I, as a kid, as a little boy, I found that absolutely horrible. So at one point I decided, because it was all about money, not enough money and these kind of things, so I decided at one point, never really go through something like this. I never want to argue about money. I never want to money be an issue. So I decided as a little boy, probably like 3-4 years old already, I want to have money. So I had a look around later on when I grew up. Who are the people actually that have money? And I found two types of people. The first people were persons that had their own businesses. And as it was a small village, it was mainly like bakeries, like a small bakery, small shops, and these kind of things. And the other people with money were people that were investing. So they took money, invested into something, and they got more money back. And I always found that very attractive because I didn't want to work too much for money.
Too much?
Yeah. So. And my mantra as a little kid was, if you have to choose, take both. So I started my first business at the age of 16. And
you what?
My first business I started at the age of...
Your own business?
My own business, yeah.
Age of 16?
16, yeah. I wasn't get paid for it, but I had that IT company that gave me all these IT equipment, all these IT books, and I tested it and wrote articles about it, and they decided, based on my opinion, if they put it into their program or not. So what I got was a lot of knowledge at a very early age, which helped me later to build up an IT company that did millions of euro in revenue and delivered IT services in 170 countries at the end. Yeah.
Did you at any point tell your parents that I will have money in future?
Yeah. I always told everyone, so I kind of committed
myself
to it.
And did they believe you?
No. Yeah, so actually what my parents wanted for me was to do some kind of apprenticeship and get some work locally, and I was like, no, I want to go to university, I want to study, I want to earn more, I want to do something different, because I realized that the people that were working for their money, they weren't the ones that had money.
Welcome back to The Standpoint. Would you say education plays a role, formal education, in becoming financially independent?
In my honest opinion, absolutely not. What you learn in an education is important if you want to follow a certain career path. But the governments worldwide or the school systems worldwide don't teach you about how to make money, how to maintain money, how to deal with money, how to start a business, and like all these things that are important when it comes about money or investments. So that's not part of the curriculum in any country in the world. So education is great. You always should get as much knowledge as possible. I, for myself, read like 30 minutes every day, and that sums up to around 100 books every year. And I would encourage every one of you to do exactly the same thing. Because I think we can all agree, the more you know, the more valuable you are, and the better you are in doing certain things, both in business as well as in your career. And you will definitely benefit from these things.
It's a conscious effort you make.
Yeah.
30 minutes every day.
Yeah.
You read a book.
Never stops.
Never stop. Yeah. You have a daughter.
Yes, I have a daughter.
I like the smile on your face.
Yeah.
How old is she?
Oh, she turned 4 last year in September. So
she'll be 5 in September this year.
Exactly.
Is she 4.5 going on 20 kind of person, or she's just a little kid? You get me? Like, she's very open-minded, because if you are the dad, I'm sure you are pushing a lot of ideas into her head already.
Yeah, definitely. But it wasn't necessary to push it. Like, kids observe their environment very, very well. Like, when she, as an example, when she was 3, I'm divorced, so my ex-wife lives with her like 200 kilometers away, and she's a complete daddy girl. So when I enter the room, everything else becomes secondary. And she was asking, like, "Mommy, can we visit daddy today?" And she, having a normal job in an office, she said, "No, honey, we cannot visit daddy today because daddy is working." And she then, because I earn my money mostly off investments, she was standing there and saying, "No, mommy, daddy doesn't work. Daddy earns money. That's a huge difference." So
That's my kind of job. Daddy doesn't work. He earns money.
Exactly.
That's a huge difference.
it is, yeah.
But is she right? Does
Yeah.
it make a huge difference?
Yeah, it's a huge difference. Like, when you want to become financially free, it's actually a 3-step process. If you want me to explain it?
Yes, please.
The first step would be you need to make sure that you earn more every month than you spend. So you have a surplus in your bank account every month. Then you take that money very carefully away from you, because otherwise you will spend it. And you use that money to invest. And then you get more money like every month. So you have more money to reinvest. And that becomes like a circle. So you invest more, you get more. So you invest even more and you get more. And at one point, if you continue doing so, which would be the last step, you would actually make more money passively from your investments than you spend every month. And then you don't need to work. You don't need to exchange your time for money. And then you can really do whatever you're passionate about, whatever you want. You can start to change the world.
I'm into this business, that is a food business, and whatever income that I generate from the business, I invest it into my education. So now there is nothing left for me for other things. I want to ask, should I stop, defer my course, that is stop or pause the education for now, and then invest into some other thing that will generate me more income, and it will later continue the education?
So 2 things I would like to say for it. The first thing is that education, or the things you have in your head, the wisdom you have, that normally pays the best interest, because you have that wisdom for a lifetime, and you can do something with it for a lifetime and can have earnings out of it for a lifetime. So I always, still today, I'm going to courses. I want to expand my personal knowledge, and I spend a lot of money on that. So I definitely wouldn't cut the money on the education side. On the other hand, if you feel like you don't have enough money left to put it aside to invest, I would encourage you to pay yourself first. That means from every CD that comes in, you take 10% and put it aside. You pay yourself first, and then you pay all the rest. And if you do that, and at the end of the month, and I had many of these months when I started, if you have money, if you're short on money and you need to pay bills, you will find a way magically to get that money to pay that bills, but you still have the 10% you put aside. And that's the key. So always make sure you pay yourself first. So every month it's guaranteed that you have some money left over for investments, but don't cut it from education.
You failed before?
Yeah, of course.
You've hit rock bottom before?
Yeah, like when I started studying, I was in a position that I had to move to a town or to a city where a university was, and I didn't manage to study and come up with all the costs associated with that. So rock bottom was when I was in that little apartment. Didn't have any electricity anymore because the bills were not paid. I was like 2 months behind on my rental payments, so after 3 months they'll throw you out. So I was like nearly becoming homeless. Yeah, and I had like that small bathroom, and I still have that furniture today to remind me, where I had a job interview and I needed to shave. So I put a small candle on it to see myself in the mirror to be able to do that. And that pretty much was rock bottom, because it was the last candle. And after that, if that job interview didn't fail, I would have been kind of homeless on the streets. So that was pretty close to it. And Then I started to do an apprenticeship, and after that I was able to put some money aside and get business going and raise it, and from there it went up.
Your final words to our viewers.
My final words. I would encourage everyone to dare to be different. You only have one life, and there's no one else going to live it for you. And you have all your dreams and your passions, and if you are not going to do something out of it, who else would do it? So make sure that you live your life to the max every day, and whatever other people say, don't care too much about it. The ones that criticize you the most when you start are your biggest fans in the end. So don't let other people determine your life. Live your life, because it's yours and it's God-given. So make the most out of it.
Thank you.